It's time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson, sponsored by Ouachita Valley Respiratory Care and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. He was one of Hollywood's first Western stars. With his contemporaries Bronco Billy Anderson and William S. Hart, Tom Mix played a key role in defining the genre as it emerged in the early days of cinema. He was acknowledged as the King of Cowboys in an era before Roy Rogers became known as King of the Cowboys. Thomas Edwin Mix was born January 6, 1880 in Mix Run, Pennsylvania. He was christened Thomas Hezekiah Mix, but hated his given middle name, so he changed it in honor of his father Edwin. He grew up in nearby Dubois, where Edwin taught him to ride horses. He fought in the Spanish-American War of 1898, but his unit never went overseas. He later failed to return for duty after an extended furlough when he married Grace Allen in 1902. Mix was listed as AWOL later that year, though he was never court-martialed nor apparently even discharged. His marriage to Allen was annulled after 1 year. In 1905, Mix married Kitty Joel Perrin, but this marriage also ended within a year. He next married Olive Stokes in 1909, and 3 years later, Olive gave birth to their first child, daughter Ruth. While living in Oklahoma, he worked all sorts of odd jobs, including bartender and even night marshal. He then found employment with the Miller Brothers 101 Ranch, which had its own touring Wild West show in which Mix appeared. He stood out as a skilled horseman and expert shot, winning various national riding and roping contests. He began his film career with the 1909 short Cowboy Millionaire, released by the Selig Polyscope Company. He went on to appear in more than 100 other films for Selig, which experienced financial difficulties by the late 1910s. Mix and Victoria Ford, whom he married in 1918, would sign with Fox Film Corporation and welcomed the arrival of another daughter, Thomasina, a few years later. Mix made more than 160 Western films throughout the 1920s. These featured action-oriented scripts, contrasted with the documentary style of his previous work with Selig. During his time at Fox, Mix not only reached $7,500 a week in salary, but also gave John Wayne his first movie job as a prop man. At the height of his career, Tom Mix became friends with Wyatt Earp, who lived in Los Angeles in his later years, and frequently visited Western movie sets. When Earp died in 1929, Mix was one of his pallbearers. By 1931, however, talking pictures became the norm, and Mix made a smooth transition. He also divorced his wife Victoria and married his fifth wife, Maple Hubble Ward, in 1932. Universal Pictures approached him that year with an offer to perform in talkies, which included script and cast approval. He acted in 9 films for Universal, but because of injuries he received while filming, he was reluctant to do any more. In 1933, Ralston Purina obtained his permission to produce the radio series Tom Mix Ralston Straight Shooters, which but for 1 year during World War II was popular into the early 1950s, well after Mix's death. His last screen appearance was in a 15-chapter serial, The Miracle Writer, in 1935. That same year, Texas Governor James Allred named Mix an honorary Texas Ranger. On October 12, 1940, Tom Mix died in a traffic collision just 18 miles south of Florence, Arizona, at the age of 60. Throughout his career, Mix made 291 films. As of today, only about 10% of these were known to be available for viewing, though it's unclear how many are now considered lost films. The 1937 Fox Vault Fire lost most of the archive of his films made with Fox. The relationship between Mix and Wyatt Earp was most famously fictionalized in the 1988 film Sunset, starring Bruce Willis as Tom Mix and James Garner as Wyatt Earp. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me every Monday through Friday morning for Trivia Tracks on Fox Sports Camden 97.1.